What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rusty Nuts Media. This Camaro, the battery died, right? So I was gonna try to get a car in here to jump it off, but I can't fit one through here. So I tried to push it back. I'm not that guy, right? Yeah, I found that out. I'm not that guy. So I'm just gonna work on it right here. That's fine. That's okay. What I'm doing today, some of this right here, not okay, right? This is not good. This is not good. And we're outside. Yeah. So all this is outside. There's some rusted spots on the car here and there. There's a couple little spots here and there. Right? We need to work on that. It's going to be sitting outside for a while. So I'm planning to build a shop over here on my land out here. It's going to be a pretty nice shop. Started putting back some money for that. Started contacting some people about some quotes, but other news, right? So until that shop is built, this is going to be sitting here. I'm going to let my hand talk for a minute. This car is sitting here. So until that garage is built, I'm going to get either a car cover or a tent like this one or something to put over this in the meantime while that's getting built. So to keep it kind of out of the weather and keep it from rusting anymore or anything like that, the first thing I'm going to do today is get some of this rust taken care of. We're going to sand it down, get as much rust off of the car as we can, get some primer or some kind of protection on the car. That way it doesn't continue rusting, right? I'm so out of breath from trying to push this thing by myself. Not happening, right? But anywho, we're going to be doing a little bit of body work today. No Bondo, no filler, no nothing like that. Right now, we're just getting bare metal and then protection. And that's it. Let's get to it. Now, if you guys saw the last video, we took the Camaro to the track just to see what it did, honestly. I think Cody's best time in there was 17.7, something like that. So coming up for the Camaro, of course, we've got to get some new tires on this thing. The tires that are on it are just so old and dry rotted. It just really needs tires, mainly for safety, but the new tires are going to let us drive it kind of wherever we want it. The holes in the exhaust, massive holes. It's the original exhaust that came on the car from the exhaust manifolds all the way back to the tips. So we're just going to get a whole new exhaust system, front to back, headers, cross pipe, cat back, everything all the way to the tips to get that repaired. And once we get the tires and the exhaust on it, we could drive this thing anywhere we wanted. The car runs great, shifts great, everything is mechanically sound. We just want to get the car drivable, right, to where we can take it where we want to, do whatever we want to do with it. We don't want to go crazy modifying or cutting or anything like that. I think exhaust and tires, and then at the track it was wheel hopping a little bit. The leaf springs in the back, from what I've seen, a lot of cars with the leaf springs have that issue. The spring will start to bind up, and that's where you get that wave coming onto your tire from. So I think maybe just a set of traction bars, maybe some Caltrax or something like that, just to get it to where it doesn't bounce. That way if we do want to launch it or something, just goofing off, having fun, it doesn't bounce and end up breaking an axle or the rear diff or something like that. I think that would be a nice little setup. And then until the garage is built, we'll kind of just leave it pretty much how it is. Just drive it around, enjoy the car as a car, and then just get it ready for the shop. Because once it's in the shop, then we can actually tear it down and do some real body work as far as getting some new paint on this. Because this car, let's see, I don't know if this is the original color. I'm not entirely sure. This paint is old, really old. It's pretty dulled down. So I think definitely a paint job in the future, for sure. What I'd like to do is take everything off of the car, get it completely gutted down to the frame, and just throw undercoating, you know, a good paint on it to where this rust never happens. Just kind of a one and done thing, you know. Tear it all the way down, get it painted, repaired, anything that needs to be done to it body-wise, structural-wise, and then get it all back together so we never have to worry about the car, you know, rusting or falling apart or cracking or anything like that. And then we can just play with it, right? So, anywho, that's enough talking. Let's get to sanding. Now, side note on this sanding, I'm not a professional body guy. I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm not a professional anything, right? That's other people. I'm jack of all trades. I can do a little bit of everything, but I can do a lot of nothing, right? So what I'm aiming to do with this, I'm just starting out with some rough sandpaper by hand just to see how much I can get into it. The goal here is to get it as much of this orange-brown color off as I can, right? Remove the rust, get it to good solid metal. So that's what I'm going to start with. I don't want to go too harsh with like a grinder or something and start cutting into the metal. I just want to remove this top layer of rust, and that's pretty much what I'm going to start with right here, just because it's easy to see, easy to reach. Once I kind of get in the groove of it, I can move to some smaller spots here and there, and then just hit it with some type of primer. This, of course, is just like a temporary solution just to keep it from getting any worse, and then paint later, right? So this is what we're doing today. So it's going to be this for the next few hours, and I'll give it a couple minutes and see where we're at. So whatever paint is on this car is really, really thick. There's a huge step down from the paint to the actual metal. There's some body filler in here, a couple other things. So it took a little while to get it sanded down. It's not the smoothest thing in the world. You can kind of feel some transitions here and there, but I've got a lot of the rust gone. So this is temporary, right? Just protect the metal, because later on we can always get it sanded down all the way, fill what we need to fill, correct the body anywhere it needs to be corrected, and then we're good. But for now, that's going to work for there. There's a couple other places I'm going to kind of sand down here and there. Spot right there on the trunk. So this car was actually in a garage during a house fire. The back of the car here was in the corner of a garage. The back of the garage was actually on fire. So there was a lot of heat right here on the back of the car. Basically where this paint had basically bubbled, where it was melting off of the car. Especially right in here, this area got super hot on the back of the car. You can see some of the paint just basically boiling off of the car. But the car is, you know, the body's still straight. It's not warped or anything. The glass is perfectly fine. Some of the trim is a little rough, but you can get new trim pieces, like sanding right in here. I'm not too worried about hitting the trim. You can get new trim pieces for that. New rubber seals for the doors. Basically make this car drivable. That's the whole point of this car, is to get it to where we can just drive it around, not worry about anything at all. So while this is drying, I'm gonna hit a couple other spots and then come back and probably start masking stuff off to put some primer down to protect it. All right, so where we're at now, we've got it down to some bare metal. We've got it cleaned up really good. We've got it sanded all the way down to like a 220, I think is what we're at right now, just to get the huge scratches out of there. A lot of areas taped up. I'm not gonna get too crazy with the primer. Just kind of hit where we need to hit, not go much further out. Basically right now we just need this paint and the primer to protect the car. Of course later on we can get it painted, which I keep mentioning, but we've got these spots up here. We've got a couple on the trunk back here. This is just where some paint was bubbling up and off of here. I'm not even sure if this is metal or fiberglass or something, but that wing is okay. There's no metal showing, nothing like that. There's a couple small spots I'm not too worried about, but the bigger pieces like there, there's one up here on the fender. I'm just getting the big spots for now, and we can come back later and do what we need to do. Right now, I'm gonna wipe it down one more time, make sure everything's really clean, and then just hit it with some self-etching primer so it's protected. So be back in a minute. All right, so the first coat is down. We're gonna let that flash dry and then hit it with a few more coats. Basically this paint is just not good anymore. It's so thick. The paint is bubbling off of this thing back here. You can see it, just huge holes in it. It's really bad. It's basically all over the car. The paint's coming up, chipping out. There's big holes everywhere. So I mean, it's gonna have to be redone, which is why today it's just temporary, right? So this is just to protect it until we can get it painted. So I'm gonna hit it with a few more coats and then we should be done out here. All right, 3 coats done, tape peeled off. Looks like crap, but it's protected. and that's the main thing. So later on, I'll go around, kind of clean up around the edges just a little bit. There's some hard lines around this one, as you can see, but that's okay. A little bit of overspray, whatever. The paint's horrible. It needs an update pretty badly, but at least now it's protected while it sits outside. Then we're gonna start working on the shop as soon as we can. So we'll have some updates coming on that too. So we'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye guys.